Today, we'll be doing part 3 of 50 millisiemens potency, namely transformation from centesimal to the 50 millisiemens. That is the part 3. Well, in the light of his experience, Hahnemann suggested two modifications in the mode of administration of centesimal scalar potencies. They were administration of similimum in liquid form and change the degree of dynamization with each dose administered to the patient. So, as for the last video on part 2, I told you that in the 50 millisiemens, it is the pellets are dissolved in water and they're given as compared to the centesimal wherein the dry dose was given, and you can easily change the degree of dynamization with each dose administered to the patient. Now let us see something more about each of these points. First point, administration of similimum in liquid form. Out here, in episode number 272, the 6th edition, Hahnemann writes, such a globule placed dry upon the tongue is one of the smallest doses for a moderate recent case of illness. Here, but a few nerves are touched by the medicine. A similar globule, crushed with some sugar of milk and dissolved in a good deal of water and stirred well before administration, will produce a far more powerful medicine for the use of several days. Each dose, no matter how minute, touches on the contrary many nerves. So it tells you that if you would take a dry globule and place it on top of your tongue, in a case of a moderate illness, of a recent illness, naturally that globule will only touch a small amount of nerves, or a few nerves will be touched by the medicine. But if we would crush the globule with some sugar of milk and dissolve it in a good deal of water and then give it to the patient, then a naturally much more powerful medicine would be used, or would come into effect, because it would touch on the contrary many nerves, and the action would be benefited to the patient. Now, another reference is preface to the 3rd volume of the Chronic Disease, the Peculiar Nature and the Homeopathic Cure, with regarding the administration of similimum in liquid form. Experience has shown me that it is most useful in diseases of a magnitude to give to the patients the powerful homeopathic pellets, or pellets only in solution, and this solution in divided doses. So out here he says also in the chronic disease, if you read, he tells you that you have to give it in water, and the solution then can be given it in divided doses. Continues, in this way, we give the medicine dissolved in 7 to 20 tablespoons of water in acute and very acute diseases every 6, 4 or 2 hours. Where the danger is urgent, every hour or every half hour, a tablespoon at a time with a weak person or children, or only a small part of a tablespoon may be given as a dose. In chronic disease, I found it to be best to be given a dose of a solution of suitable medicine at least every 2 days, more usually every day. So it tells you out here that the medicine what you have taken, one globule can be dissolved in either 7 or 20 tablespoons of water, and in acute cases or in very acute cases, you can also give it repeatedly, say every 6 hourly, or if it is more acute, you can give every 4 hourly or 2 hourly, and so on and so forth. Or if the patient is in danger, or if the disease is of a dangerous character, and you want the reaction to take place fast, then you can also give it every half an hour. And you can also give it in children or in weak persons. But please remember that the dose has to be given it in water. And in chronic disease, it is said that it is given at least, 2 doses are given, or 1 dose is given every 2 days, or it is better if you give 1 dose every day also would be beneficial to the patient. Regarding changing degree of dynamization with each dose administered to the patient. After the 247 6 edition, Hahnemann says it is impractical to repeat the same unchanged dose of a remedy once, not to mention its frequent repetition, as and at short intervals in order to delay the cure. The vital principle does not accept such unchanged doses without resistance, that is, without other symptoms of the medicine to manifest themselves than those similar of the disease to be cured. Because the former dose has already accomplished the expected change in the vital principle, and the second dynamically wholly similar, unchanged dose of the same medicine no longer finds, therefore, the same condition of the vital force. So, therefore, it tells you out here that why is it impracticable to repeat the same unchanged dose of the medicine, and not to mention its frequent repetition. So basically, if you would give the same medicine in the same potency without changing it, the vital force doesn't respond to it. It so happens that once you give a particular potency, the vital force will act or will react to it, and its action will be changed, or it will vibrate at a different level than what it used to vibrate before. So therefore, if you do not change the potency, such changes are not accepted by the vital force without resistance. And once the vital force will resist these changes, then naturally some other symptoms of the medicine would also be prevalent in the person, making the person more miserable than what he was before. And whatever the previous dose you have given in a potency, it has finished its action. So now you have to go to the next higher potency, and you have to then gradually you have to change it. In this way, if you would gradually change the potency with the help of the 50 millisiemens scale, it is much more useful rather than just repeating the same potency again and again on the centesimal scale. So whatever medicine you are giving on the centesimal scale in a particular potency, the vital force can never find the same condition, or it will never vibrate at the same level. It will vibrate at a different level. This indicates that the next potency has to be given in order to match the change vibration of the vital force. The patient may indeed be made sick in another way by receiving other such unchanged doses, even sicker than he was, for now only those symptoms of the given remedy remain active which were not homeopathic to the original disease. Hence, no step towards cure can follow, only a true aggravation of the condition of the patient. But if the succeeding dose is changed slightly every time, namely potentized somewhat higher, then the vital principle may be altered without difficulty by the same medicine, and thus the cure brought near. So he is telling you that if the patient will receive unchanged doses of, if you give the same potency repeatedly again and again, especially true on the centesimal scale, then the patient will get more sick. And the symptoms will remain active. And definitely an aggravation will be caused. But if you use the LM potency, then the vital principle can be altered without much aggravation, and you can repeat the medicine often and then gradually change over to the potencies in order to bring out the cure faster. Now, reference of this point in the chronic disease, Hahnemann says, our vital principle cannot well bear the same unchanged dose of medicine to be given even twice in succession, much less more frequently to a patient. But in taking one and the same medicine repeatedly, if the dose in every case varied and modified only a little in its degree of dynamization, then the vital force of the patient will calmly, as it were, willingly receive the same medicine, even at brief intervals, very many times in succession with the best results. So, in chronic disease, it tells you that if you would give the unchanged dose of the medicine frequently, then not much of difference will take place. But however, if we could modify the dose and in each degree of dynamization, you would increase the degree of dynamization, then the vital force will accept this change and will give you beneficial results. So as I told you previously also that the vital force, when one potency is given, it vibrates at one level. When one potency is given, that changes the vibration, the vital force then vibrates at the second level. So for the second level, the potency slightly has to be increased, and in this way, the cure will take place. The slightest change in the degree of dynamism is affected if the bottle which contains solution of one or more pellets is merely well shaken 5 or 6 times every time before taking it. So therefore he says that if you do not want to skip to the next potency in the 50 millisiemens scale, you can just take the solution and you can just shake it, or you can succus it, or just stir it with a spoon 5 to 6 times before taking it. All this will become much more clear in my other videos, which I'll be telling you on the method of administration of the LM potency. This is, I'm just giving a reference of what Dr. Hanneman had said in the chronic disease. So that's all for today or for this part. The next part 4, will be coming soon. If you like this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe.